Now, there may be light at the end of the tunnel in the fight against insecurity. This follows the visit of the Presidential Committee on the overhaul and revamp of Police and Security Training School to the Nigeria Police Training School in Muonyili, River State. The visit is part of the committee's on-the-spot assessment of police and security training schools across the country. The committee, chaired by the Enugu State Governor Peter Amba, was accompanied by the River State Governor Siminalayi Fubara, as well as Ogun State Governor Dapo Abiodun, who is a member, and the immediate past Inspector General of Police Baba Ahmed, who is the secretary. Speaking to newsmen after the visit, Governor Fubara said the inauguration of the committee indicates the seriousness of President Tinubu to restore professionalism in the police and tackle insecurity.
The president has come out to make a bold statement that he wants police officers that will be trained, that will be engaged to come out professionally. And I strongly believe that with the situation of our country today, it is not a mere talking. He meant every word he has said.
While also speaking, the chairman of the committee and Enugu State Governor Peter Amba said the president's decision shows that Nigeria's security challenges require immediate and comprehensive intervention. The Enugu State Governor said the recruitment of 30,000 new police personnel approved by the president cannot begin without functional training institutions.
The president recognized that we are at a security crossroad, and nothing short of complete and urgent overhaul is required to ensure that we secure our future. You may already know that there has been an approval by Mr. President to recruit 30,000 new personnel for the police. There is no way that recruitment would happen if we do not have a training ground for these men and women.
Governor Amba also spoke on the duration and the nature of the work.
This is being treated as an emergency, and so everything about it is going to be treated as such, including the intervention funds for it. So it's extremely important that we underscore that point. The first phase would be 1 month, and then this committee would also supervise the renovation, to oversee the period of renovation, reconstruction, re-equipping.
Also, Ogun State Governor Dapo Abiodun said the level of rot in the Muonyili Police Training School is similar to what is obtainable in Lagos, Jos and Maiduguri.
But you definitely cannot train them in this kind of environment that is not conducive, like we've seen here in Port Harcourt, like we've seen in Lagos, like our colleagues have seen in Jos, have seen in Maiduguri, and I'm sure like we're going to see when we get to Enugu. And these are just the few that we've chosen. We have a team of consultants looking at all the training facilities across the country, and we are determined to meet that deadline.
Still talking about security, River State Governor Siminalayi Fubara says his administration will collaborate with the Federal Road Safety Corps to tackle car theft in the state. Governor Fubara said this when he hosted a Corps Marshal of the FRSC Shehu Mohammed at Government House, Port Harcourt on Thursday.
We're trying to work on something to help in terms of security, to reduce the issue of car theft. So that is something we're working on with the Ministry of Transport, so we can form a kind of synergy to have a track of the vehicles in the state, vehicles that are doing business in the state, so that if cases of car thefts occur, they can easily work with the road safety and also have a track of those things.
The governor also promised to attend to their demands. Earlier in his remark, the Corps Marshal of the FRSC Shehu Mohammed appealed for accommodations and vehicles for personnel of FRSC in the state. And now the secretary to the River State government, Dr. Benibo Anabraba, says the responsibility of keeping roads safe depends on all motorists. The SSG said this while representing the state governor Siminalayi Fubara at the flag-off of the Ember Months Road Safety Campaign by the Federal Road Safety Corps FRSC in Port Harcourt on Thursday. He said the task of keeping the roads, including land and sea, safe is not required only in the Ember months, but through every season or day. The SSG also stressed the need for citizens to remain responsive as the state government remains resolute in ensuring the provision of critical infrastructure across all sectors of the state. In his address, the Court Marshal, Sheikhu Mohammed, said the decision to flag off this year's Ember Month campaign in Rivers State is because the state represents one of the busiest transportation hubs in the country. According to the statistics from the FRSC, crashes recorded between January and September 2025 in Rivers State, 15 persons were killed and 51 persons injured out of 47 reported cases of road crashes. When compared to the 2024 record, the figures represent a 35.7% decrease in fatalities and 37.5% decrease in road crash-related injuries. Now let's remain with security, but at the national level, where President Bola Tinubu has assured Nigerians that his administration is committed to strengthening global partnerships and intensifying the fight against terrorism and crime. He made this known after receiving an economic briefing from the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edu, during the Federal Executive Council meeting on Thursday. President Tinubu assured that his government remains focused on moving the country forward under the renewed hope agenda despite current political and security challenges.
The task ahead is immense. We are engaging the world diplomatically, and we assure all of you that we will defeat terrorism in this country.
And just while the president was giving the assurance, one of the reports from the New York Times says that the U.S. military is preparing a possible airstrike in Nigeria. According to the report released on Wednesday, the U.S. Africa Command has submitted several military options to the Department of Defense following a request from Secretary Pete Hegseth to act on Trump's orders. Officials who spoke to the New York Times said the plans include 3 levels of military action described as heavy, medium, and light. This follows President Donald Trump's directive to the Pentagon to prepare to intervene to protect Christians from terrorist attacks.
Christianity is facing an existential threat in Nigeria. Thousands and thousands of Christians are being killed. Radical Islamists are responsible for this mass slaughter. I am hereby making Nigeria a country of particular concern. I am asking Congressman Riley Moore, together with Chairman Tom Cole and the House Appropriations Committee, to immediately look into this matter and to report back to me. And I mean, like, immediately. The United States cannot stand by while such atrocities are happening in Nigeria.
While still on this, a new bill introduced in the U.S. Congress has proposed targeted sanctions and other restrictive measures against individuals and groups accused of serious violations of religious freedom in Nigeria. The legislation specifically named the Miyetti Allah Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria and the Miyetti Allah Kautal Hore as entities implicated in such abuses. The bill, introduced by Smith Christopher, member of the House of Representatives, proposed sanctions on members of the groups, including visa restrictions and asset freezes. He presented the bill on Tuesday while commending U.S. President Donald Trump for redesignating Nigeria a country of particular concern. In the bill, Christopher noted that the U.S. has also placed Fulani ethnic militias operating in Benue and Plateau State on its entities of particular concern list under the International Religious Freedom Act. Christopher's bill also suggested that the U.S. should provide immediate humanitarian assistance directly to faith-based groups to support internally displaced people in Nigeria's Middle Belt state. While reacting to this, the chairman of Miyetti Allah in Rivers State, Mohammed Tukur Abubakar, says Christians and Muslims in Nigeria are living in unity. Speaking to correspondent Martha Okere, the Miyetti Allah chairman said the Nigerian government should not allow Trump to carry out his threat, saying the U.S. wants to use it to achieve something.
Muslim and Christian, we are the same mother, the same father in Nigeria. No, not allow what Donald Trump has said, say a Muslim, they kill Christian, is wrong because they need to achieve something for our country. Let them not allow this man to enter our country. If this man enter our country, that is why we don't finish. Anytime we see they organize our people to be Muslim and Christian united. Yet Allah nothing concern them to quarrel with anybody, to fight with anybody, to get tribalism with anybody.
While in the meantime, a Rivers-based entrepreneur, Kingsley Chukwuma, has cautioned Nigerians to consider the consequences of any foreign military intervention in the country. Chukwuma was reacting to the Christian persecution claims by U.S. President Donald Trump, while expressing support for efforts to end insecurity. Olunta, who is the CEO of Olunta Motors, said Nigerians must weigh the implications of such external involvement carefully. He blamed the nation's lingering insecurity on what he described as the selfish interests of politicians, accusing them of using non-state actors to gain political power since 1999. He said the actions of past and present leaders have eroded the country's social, economic, and political foundations. It called for introspection among Nigerians, warning that while foreign intervention may sound appealing, the reality could be far more complex.
What we are facing today in Nigeria is accumulated failure of leadership. Previous and present, it will take us some decades to amend it. Yes, Nigeria is a sovereign nation, but sovereignty comes with a lot of responsibilities. When a government cannot protect the life, security, and property of its own citizens, that government has failed. But what we are saying, while we are supporting foreign invasion, we should at least use our tongue and count our teeth. While we are supporting, we should again consider the consequences and intricacies that are attached to it.
Olunta also faulted critics in Rivers State who condemned government leadership but engaged in even worse act like land grabbing. He added that moral decay among citizens contributed to the country's problems.
Even some of us who are condemning and saying bad leaders, see what they are doing when they are not even at the corridors of power. Some of them who are writing today, both in Facebook, condemning the leadership in the country. What they are doing is even very bad, more than what our leaders are doing. What is more genocide than when somebody invade a community, probably take the person to court and make a range judgment with a judge to convict somebody in order to grab that person's land? What is more genocidal than that? He who go for justice must go with clean hands.
The entrepreneur, however, urged citizens to support efforts that promote social justice and national unity, insisting that Nigeria's sovereignty must be upheld with responsibility. To election matters now. The chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor Joash Amobiton, has appealed to eligible voters in Anambra State to come out en masse to cast their ballot in Saturday's governorship election. Amobiton stated this at a press conference at the INEC headquarters in Abuja on Thursday. He said the greatest enemy of Anambra's democracy was not just external violence but voter apathy. He, however, stated that the Commission was determined to deliver a credible, inclusive and transparent election in Anambra State on Saturday, November 8, 2025. Now let's take a short break. When we return, Rivers Flood Committee begins distribution of relief items. Stay with us. Come back now. The Rumokoro Clan Council of Chiefs and Traditional Rulers in Obiakwa local government area has clarified that there are only 5 officially recognized traditional rulers representing the 5 constituent communities of the Rumokoro Clan. In a statement, the paramount ruler of Muonyili of Rumokoro Clan, Eze Owel Oku Okonda, listed the recognized rulers as Eze Chibuzo Israel Okocha, traditional ruler of Rupakolosi community, Eze Anthony Wanwa, paramount ruler of Elibolo community, Eze Nwolo Sam Oke, paramount ruler of Awalama community, Eze Pekwele Wele Atam, paramount ruler of Romaholo community, and Eze Okudiwa Wabara of Elieke community, who is awaiting coronation. Eze Oku Okonda explained that this clarification became necessary following the activities of certain individuals falsely parading themselves as paramount rulers of Rupakolosi and Elibolo communities. He further emphasized that he alone, as the Yeweli of Rumokoro clan, holds the exclusive authority to coronate and install paramount rulers within the clan. The paramount ruler therefore urged the public to disregard any imposters claiming such titles outside of the duly recognized names listed above. Now, the Rivers State Flood Prevention and Management Committee has commenced the distribution of relief materials to flood-impacted local government areas in the state, beginning with the Orashi region, flagging off the distribution of the items at the Central Medical Stores in Port Harcourt on Thursday. Rivers State Deputy Governor and Chairman of the committee, Professor Ngozi Odo, said the committee procured both food and non-food items for each local government area. She noted that Ahoda East, Ahoda West, and Obai Ebemandoni local government areas each received 2 trucks filled with relief materials. Professor Odo explained that the event was part of deliberate effort to mitigate the burden of flooding. She said the non-food items for each local government area include 200 mattresses, 200 pillows, slippers, and cooking utensils. Food items for each local government area include 200 bags of rice, 300 cartons of noodles, 500 bags of gari and beans, 600 cans of palm oil and salt. She noted that a monitoring team would be dispatched next week to oversee distribution and ensure accountability. The Deputy Governor said the 3 million naira promise to families who lost loved ones as a result of flooding has been fulfilled. She said the state has also prepared IDP camps equipped with comfortable rooms, mosquito nets, and boreholes. Now let's get some reactions to the proposed bill by the National Assembly, which seeks to stop and punish sexual harassment in schools across the country. Some female students in Rivers State have welcomed the bill. Speaking to our correspondent, the students say the bill is a good step that could help end cases of male lecturers demanding sex in exchange for grades. Have a listen to this.
As a student, it's good because there's some lecturers that just harass, and even when you report to the school authorities, they won't do anything. And if they are putting it in law, it's a good thing. At least it will help lecturers. At least they will be cautious, knowing that this thing is punishable.
It will actually stop many problems in the sense of sometimes in school, this sleeping with girls to get grades and all that.
Well, we didn't end there. Now, one student added that while the bill is important, its success will depend on the government and school authorities having the courage to enforce it.
Bringing the bill is a strong and necessary move, but it will only work if the government and the school system have the courage to enforce it without fear or favoritism. Yes, if they do so, thousands of students will finally be able to learn without intimidation or trauma.
To help matters, primary health care workers in the state have threatened to withdraw their services by Sunday night if the government fails to pay all outstanding arrears. The chairperson of the Medical and Health Workers Union, Babakaye James Glory, issued a warning while speaking on Nigerian FM's Morning Crossfire. She criticized the state government for what she described as the continued exclusion of primary health care workers from implementation of areas.
to our own shocking surprise, the traditional workers of the LGA were paid all their due remunerations. So we really wonder why at every point in time they need to exempt health workers in our various local governments. We've been raising issues requesting for the primary healthcare workers to be paid their promotion arrears. Where these things are not being done, that we are going to withdraw the services of the primary healthcare worker.
Well, still on health issues, the president of the Association of Resident Doctors at the University of Port Harcourt Teaching Hospital, Dr. Jack Charles, says the ongoing strike by resident doctors goes beyond financial issues owed by the federal government. Speaking in an interview with correspondent Martha Okere, Dr. Charles explained that the association is advocating against the casualization of health workers, which leaves them without certain benefits, as well as for improved security around hospital premises and the employment of more doctors. According to him, some doctors work more than 72 hours, with some performing back-to-back surgeries. Dr. Charles warned that such schedules increase the risk of mistakes and doctors do not have adequate time to rest.
They are not asking for just money. They employ doctors on local basis. They are not privy to certain benefits that accrue to civil servants. For example, the National Housing Fund, the pension scheme, the medical residency training. Now, the doctors are casualized for 5 years, 6 years. They're not even talking just doctors, health workers as a whole. Some of them as young as 10 years, no streets around the hospital. They are not asking for too much. They are asking to employ these doctors. We have doctors who work for a long hours, more than 10 hours. For 58 hours, they are doing different surgeries. You can't be working like that. You are prone to making mistakes when you work for long hours.
Dr. Charles apologized to state residents for any inconvenience the strike may have caused, adding that their action aims to stabilize the health sector, improve standards, and ensure adequate numbers of qualified doctors are available to meet patients' needs. And now let's tell you that the collapse of an overhead water tanker just after 4 days of its inauguration by the Ministry of Environment is still generating reactions. Some residents of Gwara community in Kana local government area of Rivers State are now speaking up about the incident. A resident who was at the scene told correspondent Yobiorware that the contractor may have used substandard materials. He said the company failed to properly monitor the project.
But I heard the sound like thunder. People were complaining about the material that they use there, that the tank stands are not the kind of material they're supposed to use. They're supposed to use a very thick material, which is steel, and not this proof. We understand when they come, the high prep people and other people, they say that is the pillars are not very good of standing the tank.
Well, he added that the people of Gwara would never destroy a project meant to improve their lives. A structural engineer from the community, Double Lesso, also agrees.
You should not be high prep. You can't be a judge in your own matter. And so the Ministry of Environment, which is the governing ministry to high prep, should be in charge of this investigation. They should be the people to set up this panel, and so that they can come up with an independent investigation that will be for what has happened. Because if high prep set up the panel, you don't expect that high prep will come up and blame itself. And so we expect the Ministry of Environment to do that.
Our correspondent who visited the scene reports that the collapsed tank and its structure still lie on the ground, while High Prep has set up a committee to find out the cause of the incident. In a related development, the South-South People's Conference has expressed concern over the collapse and is calling for a thorough and fair investigation. The group secretary, Anthony Tabu, describes the event as an isolated case and cautioned against hasty or speculative conclusions. He urged the Ogoni people to remain united and vigilant in protecting the progress made in their communities.
And now, we'll bring you news from around the world.
Now, a man has caught fire in Melbourne International Airport after a lithium power bank in his pocket ignited, leaving him with burns to his legs and fingers. The man in his 50s was in the Qantas business lounge on Thursday morning when the overheated power bank burst into flames, filling the exclusive area with smoke and prompting about 150 people to be evacuated. Staff quickly helped the man into a shower before paramedics arrived to treat his injuries. He was taken to a hospital in a stable condition and later released. On the news this morning, you heard River State Governor Siminalayi Fubara says their state will collaborate with the FRSC to reduce car theft. U.S. military has reportedly commenced plan for airstrikes in Nigeria, targets visa ban over alleged Christian genocide. Rivers Flood Committee said it has started distributing relief materials and has redeemed the pledge made to families of flood victims. Health workers in River State have threatened strike over unpaid arrears. On the foreign scene, man set ablaze after power bank overheat in an airport in Australia. The news was edited by Onyeka Chinwosu. To reach the news team, send an SMS or WhatsApp to 0808 721 7215. I'm Ifechukwu Muonyili. Many thanks for listening.